Now with the paint all secured, these living room walls are about to get an entirely different look. So now the next thing we're going to get started doing really quickly is just go ahead and work on three things, and that is filling the holes for where I put nails in the walls, a little sanding, and a little wiping down of all of the walls. This color right here is the color that I'm actually going to use. Maybe the shadow of me is showing it and maybe a little darker than what it actually is. And then of course, it may end up being a little dark, but it is what it is because I like the color and I think that it'll work well with what I'm gonna be doing in this room. So we shall see. If not, you know there'll be a future video of me changing the color again. But as of right now, we're gonna go with that because this is the color that I like. As you can see, I've put little samples in different places on the wall, in between what I had on the wall, just to see if it would blend, and I think that it will do pretty well. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started. As you can see, I will be applying spackle to a lot of different nail holes that I have accumulated over the years from hanging pictures or whatever on my walls. It probably should have already been done a long time ago, but I just never did it because I always had something that kind of like hung over it and hid all of those actual holes. Along with this nail that is dead center my wall that I probably should have taken down a long time ago, but I had a canvas that was actually hanging over the top of it. Well, the canvas is going back up, but it will not be actually in that space anymore, which means that nail needed to go. Of course, it did leave a little nickel spot right there, but nothing a little spackle can't fix. So it's better now to go ahead and get it done and get it on out of the way. Now I'm just going to attempt to get some of the semi-gloss off of these walls instead of leaving it there, because I know that the paint that I'm putting on it is actually a satin finish. I'm not even sure if I had semi-gloss on it. I just know that there's a little shine, and I'm just trying to make sure that I get rid of it so that it does not show through my paint. Now all of the sanding down of the previous holes, adding spackle, and then sanding the walls altogether was a pretty long process. This room is about 245 square foot long, so yeah, but eventually I finally got it done and I couldn't be happier with the progress. Now the entire room has been spackled. Even pinholes that I don't even think belong to me. If I saw it up close, I put spackle in it. I got it all done, all the way around. And now it is drying. And I don't know exactly how long it's gonna take to dry. As a matter of fact, I lost an entire day of painting waiting on the spackle to turn white when the neutral color that you see on the walls now was the actual drying color. So yeah, that part. And the television was here. As you can see those spots right there. The TV was there. And let me tell you guys something. If you are mounting televisions, when you put it up, if you leave it up for a long period of time, when you take it down, it will pull the paint right off your wall. Let me show you what I mean. You see right here where I had to sand that down there? Well, right here is where the TV was exactly. And it pulled off a couple of little spots, but I had to sand it up close, if you can see that, so that I can get that spackle working inside of there. And then I had the card cover, which was running right here along the edge of the wall, all the way down. And then it went around here. You see the stuff on the floor? And then it went down, all the way down, and met to the plug. And where you see those little spots right there, and even right here where I've had to sand it, you can see those white spaces. Those card covers will rip your paint off the wall if you leave them there long enough. And you gotta be prepared to mend all of that. But I have covered all of the holes for where the curtain rod was up here at the top. And then those little pinholes up there, I didn't even know they were there, so I guess somebody has something hanging up there, I don't know. And then I did this wall over here. Let me get a little closer because this wall, the color is different. This is an accented gray wall here. So the video may not show it as well, but you can see from the corner here that it's gray. So that wall was gray, this wall was white, that wall was white, and this wall over here was gray because it goes into that corner and goes over into the dining areas. Now most times I don't take my switch and plug covers off, but this time I decided I'd just go ahead and take them off instead of worrying about putting tape around them. That way I can just easily just paint, and when everything is finished, I just make sure they're cleaned off good and then place them back on the wall. Now for this portion of the painting, I used the BEHR edger to get those edges at the top from the wall to the ceiling. It actually gives it an extra 2 inches or so below the paint line to help you make your painting move a little bit faster than I normally do when I just actually create those seam lines just with a paintbrush. So I really did appreciate that little gadget, even though you got to make sure those wheels on that gadget does not get wet, because if you do, it'll draw lines on your new painted ceiling. But hey, I only made that mistake I think once out of this entire process, so that made it a whole lot better for me. But I really did appreciate that little thing. I was so glad to see Home Depot had that. I grabbed it so fast, make your head spin, so that I can hurry up and paint these walls and not be stressed over crooked lines from my ceiling to my wall. And of course, as you can see, I outlined everything on each wall before I paint anything in the middle. It just makes the process, to me, go a little bit smoother, to make sure that all I have to do is just paint what's inside the lines. You know, like a kid when they're painting from school. I do my walls the same exact way. Do all my outside trim and then paint in the middle last. And then, of course, finally, that last wall. And this was one of those accents walls that was actually gray. And it was a pretty long process for me. At least for me it was, because after I painted everything, I still had to make sure I at least waited at least 2 hours. And that was all I was going to give it, was 2 hours before I run back over each wall to make sure that all of them had at least a good little second coat, so that I don't have to worry about any bump and grinds and all the paint chipping off the top, and you can see that bottom coat. But all in all, I think I did pretty good on it. So now, gratefully, I have finished the entire room. All of the walls are completely done. As you can see, the color is so nice. Please don't look at that heater, because something will happen with that a little later on down the line. But I have done the walls. I did all of the trimming on the bottom floorboards. All of them have been done, all the way up the sides of the doors. Everything is complete, all the way around to every inch of the room. And of course, the next process in this room is to actually complete these doors. And there are 3 of them in here, and they are another song and dance all by themselves. Like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you do not miss the next episode of D Makes It Make Sense. And until next time, guys, enjoy the rest of your day.